In today's video, I'm gonna show you how I made a vegan carrot cake. I feel those two words together of vegan and carrot cake might turn some people off it, but I promise this is a delicious recipe, and I hope that if you have any reservations about a vegan or carrot cake, your mind will be changed after this video. So to start with, I greased my two pans. Normally I'd use margarine, which is vegan anyway, but I used some coconut oil because I was using it later, and some flour, like plain flour, and that makes a nice little crust on the bottom. But you could just use margarine and normal flour, that also works as well. Then the next thing I did, which this is the most time consuming bit of basically the whole recipe, is grating carrots. And it took me a while, but I was like, if I leave this footage in raw, then it's literally going to be 20 minutes of me just grating carrots. So I've sped this up by like 500%, so we get through it a little quicker. The recipe uses 270 grams of carrots, which they say is about 4 medium carrots, and I think I ended up grating about 6, because by the time you obviously take off their tops and ends and then you like initially peel them, obviously the weight's a bit smaller, so I think I ended up with about 6 carrots overall. But yeah, just grating through that final one now, and then you'll see the final result of the carrot mountain that has appeared, and you can't fault that this is then going to be a carrot cake. The recipe I'm using, by the way, is the BBC Good Foods recipe, but I adapt it quite a bit because the BBC Good Food one has like walnuts in it, which I don't like, and also the icing is way too complicated, and you'll see that I, with no shame, use like some Betty Crocker ready-made icing, because to be honest, I didn't really want to make my own icing, but I'll come on to that later. So yeah, now that the carrots are grated, the first step is to melt your coconut oil. So this is 250 grams of coconut oil. And then once it's all melted, you're going to move to your first bowl. And in the first bowl, you're going to put in 300 grams of light brown sugar. You'll see that I didn't actually have enough, so I just used some Demerara to like top it up. And honestly, basically, as long as it's a brown cane sugar, then it's fine. It all kind of works together. It'll just make the cake either slightly richer or less rich. And then to the sugar, you add your melted oil, and you give that a nice stir until it's kind of all combined. Then you're going to add some dairy-free milk. I always go for oat milk because I feel it's creamier, but obviously if you have like an intolerance to oats or something, you use something like soya. And that's 210 milliliters. So you pour that in and you give that all a big stir as well. And then you get your second bowl. Wow. And you put in some plain flour, which is 420 grams of plain flour, along with 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder, 1.5 teaspoons of bicarbonate of soda. I just put in 2 teaspoons of mixed spice instead of cinnamon and nutmeg, because that has basically both of those in anyway. And then I put 1 teaspoon of ginger in separately. Mix these together along with the zest of 1 orange, which helps bring out the flavours a little bit. So you're going to incorporate that, mix that well, and then you're going to add, oh my gosh, the first bowl, your dry bowl, to your wet bowl, and you're going to give that a big stir as well until everything looks combined. Now, you might be thinking to yourself, wow, this does not look very carroty right now. And you'd be right, but behold, now we're adding the carrot in to make it carroty. So combine your carrot and then give it another big mix again. You'll notice that as if your house is cold, or just as time goes by, the oil will get a bit colder in the cake. So the batter will kind of firm up by itself. And you can see as I'm spreading it into the tin, it looks like it's firmed up. I think I left it 5 minutes and then it kind of became quite thick. But yeah, I put this into two 8-inch pans, and then I threw it in the oven. You'll see as I'm cutting the cake out that, and I always cut my cakes hot because I think the pan contracts and actually you're more at risk of losing stuff. But you'll see here that it didn't actually go very well, but that's okay because I wasn't worried about it. I just basically scraped the cake that got stuck at the bottom back into the slot, and I kind of knew that, because obviously when cake is hot and it's soft, it's all a bit over the place. But I was like, I'm just going to let this cool down completely. I actually had the advantage that I could cool it down overnight, so that was good. And it meant that by the time I'd come back in the morning, the cake had solidified, and it kind of basically adheres to itself at that point. It becomes solider because it's cold, and everything kind of settles into place. So honestly, don't panic if your cakes do get stuck. Just scrape them down, because actually then you're not wasting cake, and it's more of a faff to fix if your cake is missing parts than if you just sandwich them together. And just let it cool. Just let it cool afterwards, because I promise it will all come back together. So yeah, now it's the next day, and you can see that I check the cakes, and they're hard. They're firm to the touch. The crumb. I'm trying to pull the crumb. The crumb is not moving. But yeah. So then I just get my Betty Crocker icing, and a good trick with this is you want to spatula it over the cracks first, and make that quite solid. Feel free to put bonus icing over that, because then that kind of holds it all together, and then you can meld everything across, as you see that I do with these two cakes. I put the icing on, and then I'll go back and spread it all out until it's nice and even. When it came to stacking the cakes and decorating them, I didn't do too much that was special. I simply fixed the middle edge to make it look a little bit prettier, and then I put some more Betty Crocker icing on top, spread that around, and you can see this is it's quite a thick cake. It tastes honestly amazing. I would really say give this a go, because it's so simple to make, and it's vegan, so it's the added bonus. And yeah, it's honestly a great carrot cake. And this is the final result. Honestly, give this a shot. It's a great cake. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.